Welcome to my fifth video on how to build a quadcopter or a hexcopter. So now I put everything together, all the parts I mentioned and covered in my first and second video. So you can see the landing gear and the quad on top of it. What I like about the landing gear is that it's wide, and when you put your camera in here, there is nothing in the field of view, so you won't see anything in your video, which is good. And also there is a spacing between the plate of the quad and the plate of my gimbal, which is attached to the landing gear. There's about ½ inch or 1.5 centimeters thickness. So that allows me to put my distribution cables under the plate, and it gives me a clear channel that you can see in here, in which I can put my battery. So I like my battery to be protected in case of a crash. So this way it's well protected. I just need a way to fix it in here because the Velcro will not work very well since I need to slide the battery. Unlike my helicopter, I just put it in. So let's look at the components. In this case, I built my quad with white forward and the back is red. This is the KK 2.1 board. I put it in its shipping box, which is made of foam, and I cut out the top so that I can hide it here to give more protection during flight, a little bit more. This is the receiver, and I put the ESCs on top of the arms. I was going to install them under the arm, so to have more like a clean look, but looking at the manual, I realized that these have LEDs of different states. So, and I want to see the LED, so that's why I put the Afro ESCs, the 30 amps, on top of the arms. These are my Sunny Sky motors. The 15 kV, I'm going to try with the 8-inch props, and I also have 4 980 kV motors to try with 10-inch props. And again, the idea is I want to see how this will react with fast motors versus slow motors with 8 or 10-inch props. A good thing also about this frame, which is the Q450 from Hobby King, it's very sturdy, and it comes with screws long enough to attach the motors, which is excellent, because the screws that come with the motors are too short. My only little negative point about this frame is the thickness of the two plates. If they were 1 millimeter thicker, it would be great. The whole thing would be more solid. It's not bad, but I would like to see them a bit thicker. Now, when I installed the whole thing, I soon realized that the manual for the KK 2.1 board doesn't tell you which motor is M1, M2, M3, and M4. They tell you here for the connectors, for the ESCs, but not which motor is which. So you do a bit of research on the web, and you find that M1 is this one here, top left, M2 is this one, this is M3, and this is M4. So this one goes clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, and counterclockwise. So speaking of rotation, the manual doesn't also tell you that the KK doesn't do anything about rotation. I thought it would, but I was mistaken. So you have to actually interchange 2 wires to make the motor rotate counterclockwise. So when you're new in the RC hobby, you would not know that, but I've been doing racing for many years, so that's very simple to do. The other thing about the manual is that it doesn't, the sequence in the manual is wrong. Like sequence, I believe 8 is that they tell you, okay, you can now fly the quad and adjust the PDI parameters. But then if you go further in the manual, I think it's sequence 11, they tell you, oh, do a sensor check and an ACC calibration. So the order in the manual of what you're supposed to do doesn't make sense, unfortunately. So that's my only pet peeve about the manual for the KK 2.1. So I'm quite happy with the whole thing. Now let's have a look at the weight, because this is interesting. The weight of the landing gear alone is 306 grams. The weight of the quad alone is 671 grams. And finally, the battery is 196 grams. So if you add everything together, you get about 1.2 kilos total weight without the gimbal and the camera. So 1.2 kilos, or this is 2.6 pounds. And doing the calculation from the data for the motors from the sunnysky.com website, the total lift is about 7.2 pounds for the 8-inch props and the fast motors, and 7.6 pounds or 3.5 kilos for 10-inch with the 980 kV motors. So that gives me a lift. If you take 3.3 or 3.5 minus 1.2, I get about 2 kilos, so about 4.5 pounds of total payload I can carry. So I cannot wait to try this and see how it goes. Now my transmitter is on. I'm going to put a battery in and connect my, I'm right-handed, so I did my wires so that the connector comes out on the right side. So if you're left-handed, it's easy to do it on the other side. So I'm good. I'm going to plug the battery. Now you heard the beep. My receiver here is flashing, so I'm just going to undo this and I'll turn my transmitter off and I'll try to do it again. Make sure it binds correctly. Okay, now I have a solid light. Now you can see the LEDs, I'll hold the battery here. You can see the LEDs on the ESC, they're green. The KK 2.1 says safe when you turn it on. This is not safe mode, it's to say that it is safe. It's not, self-level, not the same thing. And if I arm it by holding throttle low and going to the right for a few seconds, you can see the light is red in the control board, ESCs are green, and if I get a bit of power, you're going to hear it. So all I need to do now is put the props in and go outside and do some testing, see how this flies. And then I'll do 2 more videos. I'll do one video showing how this behaves with the 15 kV motors and the 8-inch props. And like I said, I'll do another video with the 980 kV motors with the 10-inch props. And we'll see how this behaves. So thank you for watching.